Hi, I'm Alexandra from Mama and Brews. I'm going to show you 2 ways to get your baby on your back in a woven wrap. Just so that you know, this is considered a little bit more advanced. So if this is your first time with a wrap, definitely go back, learn some of the front carries first, and get really confident in them. Front wrap cross carry is our typical recommended first try carry. Once you feel pretty comfortable in how to make a seat and what that feels and looks like, then you're ready to try back carries. We recommend for a new wrapper to start wrapping on your back once you're comfortable with front carries and once your little one is able to sit in a tripod sit or to be able to sit unassisted. Usually that happens somewhere around maybe 5 or 6 months. You want to make sure that they've got good control of their airway and also that you feel comfortable maneuvering the wrap. There are people who you'll see wrapping newborns on their back. We really only recommend that for experienced wrappers, people who feel very confident in getting the seat right every time. And also, of course, with a newborn on your back, newborns need a lot more up, down, up, down. They need to nurse, or they need a bottle, or they need a diaper change, or they spit up. And so for practicality purposes, since we do recommend newborns very high up on your back in a woven wrap so you can monitor breathing well, we do, it tends to be easier to have a newborn on your front anyway. There are cultures that do wear newborns on their back very young, usually, from the beginning, or it seems like at least. If that is your culture, if you feel very comfortable with that, if you have people in your life who have been doing that and can show you how to do that safely, definitely refer to their guidance. But generally, if you've never done this before, we recommend waiting until baby's a little bit older before you give it a try so that everything is safe and comfortable for both of you. Okay, so we're going to look at two and a half ways to get baby on your back today. I think that these methods are pretty useful for people, and I think they're a good place to start. I'm going to be demonstrating with Lucy the doll today. She is supposed to be the size of a 3 to 4 month old child, so probably about the youngest you would expect to put baby on your back for more if this is sort of your first time. So what I'm doing is I'm crossing my arms. So I am going to move to baby. And I'm going to go over my right shoulder because that's more comfortable for me. So I've got my right arm underneath and my left arm over top, and we're crossed. I'm supporting baby, so I'm putting the wrap where I want the wrap to be when baby is on my back. So if there was sort of a toddler, for example, so when I put my son on my back, I start with it down here and I sort of pin under, I sort of pin under his arms, okay? So I would do it like that. And then bring it up because I know he's going to be arms out when he gets into it. But typically we're starting kind of arms in. And so that's where I'm pinning that baby. I'm supporting them, okay? And it's harder to tell sometimes with the doll, but you are still supporting them. You're using that little hammock to support them as you are coming up. Okay, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to move into my baby. All right, so if you noticed when I did that, I moved in. See how the wrap is open underneath. I'm moving into the opening. So what a lot of people do, and what I would do when I first started, is you do all this moving around, baby. But what happens is, especially as you're practicing, all the wrap pieces get twisted and you find that it's easier if you move into your child, not moving the child around your body. It just helps keep things even. Okay, so I'm going to show you that one more time. I'm not sure the name of this method. I guess I just call it like the cross. I'm sure there's a better name, but my arms are crossed. I'm going to send baby over my right shoulder. My right arm is underneath the cross. I am going to twist and move to baby. Now, here's where you're going to need a lot of practice if you haven't already. The top rail, this top line, that is what is holding baby in, okay? And so if I stand here, I don't have anything on the underneath, baby is not moving. You need to be able to stand up straight and trust that that top rail is gonna hold baby. You need to practice, and you can practice with something that's not your baby. You can practice over a bed. We always recommend practicing with a spotter and over a soft surface when you start. But you need to feel confident that that top rail is gonna hold. And you can see, I mean, this is a child, this is not a child, excuse me, this is a doll of a child, but this is a weighted doll. And they're not going anywhere. Would I do this forever? No, but they're not going anywhere. Okay, so you have to be able to trust that. You can hold these top rails with your chin or with your teeth. I find that this is something that takes practice. I'm just now sort of getting the hang of being able to do it well with my teeth. So, you know, it'll take time. So that's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how we're going to bring the slack out of that seat and make that seat for baby. Okay, so what I did was I pulled on that bottom fabric, and I was sort of adjusting it because I could tell my middle marker had moved, which happens. So I was pulling out the slack from underneath, and then just gently moving the pelvis in and adjusting, and then bringing these tails up. And then your baby is up. So this is a good starting position for a lot of carries. If you feel like baby's suddenly starting to slip or you're not comfortable, you can always pin tails, come back, pull any slack down off the neck again, and come back up, okay? You can always adjust. I find with back carries, if you feel like you're losing that seat initially, just start over. Just take baby down, start again. It's okay. So that's one way to get baby out and make that seat. I'm going to show you the other way, and I'm going to actually show you kind of by getting baby down. So this is a common way to get baby down. We end up with this L pull with one, L shape I should say, with one rail over the shoulder and one under the arm. And then pulling baby over by supporting with a hand. So this is another way you can get baby up. This is the hip scoot method. So basically we would start with, so if I'm starting from the beginning, I'm starting by putting my baby on my hip. I'm going to put I guess we'll start at the super beginning. I want baby up. I am going to put baby on my hip. I'm going to put the middle marker, whatever I'm using as my marker, if it's an off-center carry, on to baby. I am going to get them on my hip, and I'm going to tuck the fabric up, and I'm going to make that knee to knee seat. I am going to take this bottom rail, or excuse me, this tail that's behind me, I should say. I'm going to bring it up over my shoulder, and I'm going to bring this tail up to meet it. Okay. Now I might put that there for a second while I sort of get the seat how I want it. So you can see I'm just reaching in. Oh, I tucked baby's foot in back there. That's not what I wanted. Adjust, make that seat. Do I want baby arms in? Okay. Okay, so once I feel like, yeah, like that's what I want for a seat. That feels good to me. I take one hand and I grab both tails, because remember, we're always supporting our baby. And you can always make this tighter too if you want to, you know, I want that seat to stay, right? So I'm going to use one hand to combine the tails. I'm going to use the other hand to support my baby. And I'm going to turn, and I'm going to get baby up. We do lots of bouncing and wiggling, okay? So now baby's up. Nice and high. Are they a little off center? I'm just going to use the tails to pull and adjust. And then I'm ready to get started. So depending on the type of carry I'm doing, maybe I'm doing a double hammock, maybe I'm gonna just go ahead and come through here, right? And I'll start that process. Okay, just like that. Making a chest belt, right? So, oops, and that's under baby, of course, because I didn't reach up and grab that. Okay, but that's really all there is to it. Okay, so just getting that hip scoot, and then we just come back to get baby out, okay? Same thing. So for some people, that helps them feel a little bit more confident in the seat. They'd rather sort of preset that first. Other people find that it it loses the seat and then I get upset about it anyway. So whichever is your preference, do that. So I say 2.5 because I'm going to show you a little bit how to do this other one. It's hard to show sort of mid-air, which is where I have the camera set up right now. But another one to do is this Santa toss. You'll see this more often sometimes when people are wrapping newborns on their back. So again, it's not as useful to everyone, but some people do find that the Santa toss works better for them. And so basically what that looks like is you set this up, the top rail up where you want it. You set the bottom rail up here, so like I've got that supporting baby's knees and sort of bringing them up nice and tight. So if I want baby's arms in, I'm going to tuck them in. Basically what you end up with is a nice, tight little package. Okay, so I've got my little baby package. I'm going to do that with one hand. I'm going to support my baby with the other hand, and I would go cheek to cheek. And then here's the tricky part where you're sort of keeping them up there and you are spreading the other wrap like that. Okay, so I moved that tail from next to them over my head like that. And then you would start. So you sort of preset a seat in a way. And then at this point you would just, you would sort of adjust the seat, move baby down to where they need to be. So a newborn is going to be like right on your neck. Okay, if you're back carrying with a newborn, they're going to be like right there. And they are going to have their legs sort of down. Make that seat and continue. Okay, so and when you're making the seat here, so you're probably going to have more slack built up. So you're really going to have to pull that slack down. Did you see how that moved off of that baby's neck to sort of get that there? Okay, so those are just a couple of ways to get baby on your back. I hope that that's helpful. It will take practice. You will get it. Don't give up, okay? If you have a weighted doll or anything that you can sort of has a little bit of weight to it that you can practice with, that's great till you get comfortable with the technique, till you get comfortable with the form. Nothing feels quite the same as your baby. These weighted dolls do help. That's why I use them. I think that they are helpful. But keep practicing. You can do this, okay? And you will, and I believe in you. So have fun. Thank you.